Good morning, beautiful people. It is Monday, March 9th, 2020. We hope you had a fantastic weekend. A lot happened. All of a sudden, Charlie Weis is the mouthpiece for Tom Brady, cleaning up the PR mess that is his free agency. LeBron James, at 35 years of age, is putting on an absolute show. The XFL is in the headlines for a beer snake and a ref mistake. But the XFL is still in the headlines, something the AAFL and other leagues that tried to form this far along were not being talked about. We have some phone calls. We have Mark Schlereth in the second hour, 1-833-622-3331. You should join us. And our Canadian friend is here. Evan Foxy, please play some Chase Rice.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go.
Ladies and gents, it's the
Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
You're damn right it is, Chase Rice. I hope your tour with Garth Brooks and the Rascal Flatts group is going fantastic. Joining me in Indianapolis, Indiana, at Nick Moraldo's on the ones and twos. Tone Diggs is here after an incredible weekend at the Sportsbook. Ty Schmidt is here. Jason McAfee's here. Cuban Zede is looking flawless and fantastic, losing weight by the minute. At Evan Foxy is here. I hope you had a great weekend. And in the back on the phones, whenever you call in, you'll be talking to a man from Boston named Connor Campbell. Joining us, thank God you're back. He's here illegally. I think I could even get arrested for harboring this man, but back on the couch from Canada, our friend Gumpy. What up, Gumpy?
Back. Good to be back, boys. Beautiful time of year.
Gumpy, how was Canada? How was trying to get into America? Whenever you go through the customs and stuff, do you have to lie to them? And how nervous do you get lying to their faces?
This is my line every time. I'm going for contract negotiations. They can't say anything right through. 2 people in front of me taken into the back, though. A little bit of a panic. Deleted my Instagram, Twitter apps. Got right through.
Oh boy.
It's a big deal, by the way. We are not allowed to pay him. We're not allowed to pay him when he's here. We can only pay him for the work he does back in Canada, which is obviously a lot more than he does here, but he will be adding to conversation from a Canadian perspective, a man that loves basketball, loves the Dolphins somehow, and also loves the Red Sox, I believe, right?
You got it, pal.
He was once a caller into the show. Now he's about to become full-time as soon as we can figure out the laws to get him here. You could potentially do that if you call into this show and have a good phone call. Now, there's a lot of calls in this show that aren't good.
Oh, yeah.
There's actually an entire gif of me taking out a hammer and hitting myself in the head with it because of a phone call. So if you get on the line, all we ask is that you contribute to the show. You ask a question, an opinion, you give a thought, you give a take that is worth a single damn. That's all we ask. And a lot of callers are good. Some are terrible. We're looking for the great ones. 1-833-622-3331. Speaking of the great ones, one of the greatest football bodies in the history of football, Charlie Weis, is now the spokesperson, okay, for Tom Brady. He has come out on the air. This morning he was on Golic and Wingo. I guess he hosts a show on SiriusXM, NFL Radio, Charlie Weis does, formerly of Notre Dame, formerly of the New England Patriots, formerly of, I think, a couple other places. Just an offensive guru was what everybody calls him. Never played football, but was able to, climb up the ladder. And obviously, in his words, he and Tom Brady have a very tight relationship. Tom Brady and Charlie Weis spoke on the phone, and Tom Brady basically alluded to Charlie Weis that if anybody is saying they know something, they don't, because Tom Brady's saying he doesn't even know. Charlie Weis is on record of saying that Tom Brady told him to clean it up. So here's Charlie Weis cleaning it up on Golic and Wingo. I do have one bit of scoop for us, says Charlie Weis. I've been texting with Tommy. By the way, I didn't know that's what we call him.
Old Tommy.
Okay. So, Tommy, I don't usually pass along these conversations because, that's personal conversation. But one thing he told me, nobody knows anything. So anyone who is telling you they know, they don't know. I'm not going through any other part of the conversation, says Charlie Weis. But then he says Tom Brady followed up with saying, clean it up. So this is Charlie Weiss cleaning it up. So I don't know who said that they know anything. I don't think anybody has been on record saying they know anything. Everything has been purely speculation. And there's been conversations about, is Tom going to go back to the Patriots? Everything that we're reading and everything that's coming out, it sure sounds as if the Patriots and Tommy are not going to be able to work out a deal. If you look at Field Yates' tweets, which sound like they're coming directly from a New England Patriots staffer. A New England Patriots staffer sounds like they reached out to Field Yates to tell him, like, hey, we just want to let you know this whole Tom Brady speculation. Like, we haven't offered Tom Brady really a contract because we have no idea what Tom wants. So if you could tweet that the Patriots are basically waiting for Tom to give exactly what he wants to the New England Patriots, that would be great. And this is kind of just all speculation. You got one insider, Field Yates, saying things. You got another one from that guy at the Boston Herald. What was his name?
Mike Grace.
Tom Curran.
Tom Curran. You got Tom Curran talking. You got Schefter talking. You got everybody's talking about what their sources are telling them, but you never know whose sources are what. Tom Brady sounds like he's been very, very tight-lipped. And if you read this entire situation with Tom Brady handling it perfectly, I wonder if they're going to be like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, where Kim and Kanye started lying about their baby names to certain members of their circle. So if you guys were Kim and Kanye's circle here, I would tell Gumpy that I'm going to name my baby Midas. Okay. Then I would tell Nick I'm going to name my baby Doctor. And then I tell Diggs I'm going to name my baby King. And then all of a sudden you just sit and wait. And they sat and waited until one name got leaked. And they're like, okay, King got leaked. That's Diggs. Diggs is now banished from the circle forever. That is what Kim and Kanye did. By the way, genius. Absolutely genius.
Next level.
That's next level. I wonder if Tom Brady's doing this as well. Because I assume that he's talking to different people. He has to find out. Because he has to get a little bit of information gathering from some people. Obviously, he's still talking to Antonio Brown's people. Antonio Brown's people came out and said that. Antonio Brown tweeted something about how the last 6 months have been filled with ego and anger. Now he's getting back to gratitude and love or something like that. Tom Brady quote tweeted it and put it. Yeah, he said, anger and ego kicked my ass for about 6 months. I forgot about hard work and grace. Has success took a shot yet. I don't know what that means.
Very illiterate.
I don't know.
Oh, come
Yikes, Connor.
Connor,
But
you just
What? I mean, we've all heard his
by the way,
music.
that's another Patriot fan asking for Antonio Brown and Tom Brady not to come back to the Patriots. But Tom Brady quote tweeted that with a heart. I think Tommy and Antonio Brown have been in communication. And I do think whatever team ends up with Tom Brady is probably going to end up with Antonio Brown as well. If he can continue on this, PR tour, and it seems like getting his mind right would be great for everybody. Antonio Brown would be good to see it, but I don't think anybody knows anything, and that's what Charlie Weiss is saying. But why did Tommy Brady pick Charlie Weiss to be the guy to clean it up? That makes no sense to me.
I mean, he must be an absolute savage. Like, Charlie must be a cleaner, like, in his spare time, and, like, that's what he does. So, but what a lot of people haven't talked about, what's coming out in these reports and stuff like that, Bill sees that, like, Patriots want to offer him $30 million. Bill sees the salary cap. Bill sees a lot of other quarterbacks on the market. Bill in the past has gotten rid of players before they should have, I guess, in New England. Is that a chance that Bill just doesn't bring back Tom?
That's very interesting to say that, because if you go by Field Yates's, tweets, he's tweeting as if the Patriots don't know what Tom is expecting in a contract, because Tom has come out and said it's not about money, it's about championships. So if Field Yates' tweets are accurate and somebody from the Patriots organization is stating to him, and by the way, that could be a low-level staffer that's leaking information. That could be a very low-level staffer that's leaking that information to him, where he's saying the Patriots don't know what Tom wants. Is that the case then? Or is it the thought that maybe Bill Belichick is looking at the price tag, looking at their salary cap, just like the question we asked a couple weeks ago to Connor Campbell back here. It's like, if you know your salary cap is only $47 million, and another team has already said they'll give him $30 million. You look at what Dak Prescott just signed, or not signed for, but got offered $33 million a year. And then there's a $35 million player next year, Russell Wilson, let alone what Patrick Mahomes is going to get. If Tom, who rightfully so, would expect those types of numbers, could the Patriots even handle that while adding on more players? The answer is no. Like, they could. I don't think they could with enough salary cap, with enough moves. So if you're the Patriots and you're Bill Belichick, a guy that made Teddy Bruschi retire, A guy that shipped Vinatieri out of town, basically wouldn't pay him, who's greatest of all time. Willie McGinnis, Vrabel, you name it. Boom, boom, boom.
Richard Seymour tried to trade Gronk.
It sent Butler.
Malcolm Butler.
Malcolm Butler out of town. I mean, he has been a guy. Bill Belichick has been a guy that has been able to compartmentalize his relationships with humans and the business of running a good franchise. And he's a savage by all single signs that of anything he's done. He's an absolute savage. I wouldn't be surprised if Bill Belichick is like, yo, we can't pay you that. We can't pay you that. But you know, all these deals we worked where you make no money, that's because we were able to build up a good defense and something. We can't pay you $30 million. Well, I want $30 million. I think I deserve $30 million. You probably do, just not here. Imagine if Bill Belichick just kicks Tom Brady out without ever offering him a contract. Or if any of their conversations that were happening here in Indianapolis between Tommy's people and the Patriots people, imagine if that conversation just started and ended with a number and them going, we can't do it, and then just leaving. What a savage move. And then the rest of the world would all of a sudden be fans of Tommy Brady because he is no longer attached to the evil empire, which everybody will automatically associate to Bill Belichick. And then now, if Tommy Brady ends up on any of these teams that people are saying is going to, not only is he going to immediately be welcomed and celebrated, but people are going to say, we hope Tom wins, so that his name is not etched in legacy with Bill Belichick, and we hope Bill Belichick loses. I think more people would want the Patriots to lose as opposed to wherever Tom Brady's going to than Tom Brady to lose than the Patriots. And I think that is an interesting little, sociology type look at things. If Tom Brady goes to the San Francisco 49ers, he's winning probably the next 3 Super Bowls. That is just something that has to be. Now, I'm a Colts fan, obviously. We got friends on a lot of different teams. We enjoy our friendships. We enjoy watching good football. We think there's a lot of good teams. But if you look at that Niners team, now, granted, Jimmy G is a great quarterback. Listen, Jimmy G, great quarterback. When he's playing for the Niners, they win. When he's not playing for the 49ers, they lose. But when you look at Jimmy G, that one miss, okay, is now going to potentially change the landscape of everything. Tom Brady goes to the Niners. That team has a great running game. That team has a great tight end. That team has a great defense. That team has a younger coaching staff that seems to get it with their players. That team has a general manager in John Lynch that his players like and enjoy. And that just so happens to be the team that Tom loves. That roster's set up. They were in the Super Bowl last year. I mean, it feels like Tom Brady probably wins maybe the next 7 Super Bowls if he was to go there again for a team-friendly deal, which could potentially happen because he's come out and said it's about championships, not about money.
And then potentially add Antonio Brown to that already stacked roster.
I mean, it's
absurd.
We all just want to see Tommy happy, and unfortunately, that looks like it's not going to be in New England anymore.
Well, it's definitely. Well, I don't want to say it.
Is that
because I don't want to say? I don't want to say that I know because I want Charlie Weiss coming after me. I don't want Charlie Weiss coming after me.
Is that first meeting that they had where one side said it was business as usual and the other side, I think we can assume it was Brady's side, said it didn't go well? Is that where Brady said, okay, I want A, B, and C, and Belichick just said no?
Listen, I'm going to listen to what Charlie Weiss said. Nobody knows anything, but all I do know is every piece of information that you read, you have to try to figure out who it's coming from and why it's coming out. Like this Dallas Cowboys Dak Prescott information, the $105 million guaranteed, 33 a year contract that was just so leaked to somebody in the media or whatever, where that is 100% coming from the Dallas Cowboys. That is the Dallas Cowboys trying to show their fans like, hey, this is what we offered the guy. And now the Dallas Cowboys fans, if they read that, right, $33 million, 105 guaranteed, technically the richest contract in league history. If they read that, how it's presented to them, and Dak says no to that, you're automatically going to have a little bit of hard feelings towards Dak as opposed to the Cowboys. The Cowboys have to survive long past Dak, so and they've been there long before Dak, so they're going to have the people on their side. But when you leak that type of information, like, hey, we offered this dude $105 million, 33 a year, richest contract in NFL history, and he's saying no, basically. Immediately, PR war is won by the Cowboys. No matter what happens the rest of the way through, it looks as if Dak is acting spoiled, which, by the way, whatever Dak wants, I think Dak should try to get because he has been underpaid for whatever. Now, he hasn't gone into playoffs and won or whatever, so that's kind of a different animal. Have they won? No.
I don't think so.
No, he has not gone to the playoffs and won. I don't think so.
They beat the Seahawks at home one game.
Dak did?
Yep.
Okay, so he has one in the playoffs.
Yep.
Okay, so he's won a game in the playoffs, has not made it further than that, but still great football player who deserves good money. Retired Tony Romo. So whatever the reason is that he's saying no to that contract, we would be intrigued to hear, but we never will be unless his people decide to leak it. And that's just like the Tom Brady Patriots stuff. It all depends on who's leaking what information. It's all about just kind of rigging the narrative towards your side, and it's the NFL, NFLPA are doing it. It's all big business. It's all big business. That's why people who have a lot of money in the markets are trying to rig against coronavirus narrative. And I don't think it's going well. School just shut down right over here on the west side of the city.
That's one of the things I've learned from you since coming over here. Like, when you were just a casual fan, you would see a headline like that and just move about your day and then think badly about Dak.
Immediately.
But now since you were in the league and you think differently than every other human on the planet, like, you have to think about where it's coming from, what angle they're trying to come at, and what makes them look best.
Yeah, and that's all it is, right? I mean, that's what that headline that Florio wrote on Pro Football Talk is accurate. And it spins a narrative before people can even read into anything else. And also, it's 100% like, it's not that Florio's doing anything wrong here. It's that the Dallas is doing something right. The Cowboys are doing a PR move right. And I think that's where the players always lose. Just like in a CBA negotiation, normally in contract negotiation, the players always lose because they have a way of spinning it to make it look like the players look like the spoiled brats.
Do your agents tell you to not say anything during these negotiations? Because during the CBA, during contract negotiations, it always seems like the player is the one that's being quiet, and then the PR is always beneficial to the league or to the team.
Anytime you have lawyers involved, normally they tell you not to talk, right? Like, that's the first. Whenever I got for the alleged incident, I had the biggest lawyer in town showed up in the jail, right, to pick me up for my in-jail hearing or whatever they're processing. I don't know what the hell it is, that thing. And I remember his face so vividly because when I was a rookie, they had a bunch of people come speak to us. And this particular attorney came in and he said, if you ever see me again, it's not good, right? So then as soon as I get out of my solitary confinement and I go into the court thing and I see the guy, I'm like, oh, no. Here we are, we're back, right? This isn't good. He represented Tyson. He's represented basically every court case in Indianapolis. This guy, Jim Boyles, he represents. And as soon as he saw me and we were walking out of the jail and everything like that, and I sat in his car, he gave me a card. And on the back of it, it said, don't say anything. And I was just like, okay, that's interesting. He was like, they already got your tweet out about bye week, whatever. Like, we need you not saying anything. We need you not doing that. I think that's just kind of how all lawyers because I would assume once you say something, the narrative could get twisted or your words could get twisted, especially in my particular case. Like, I couldn't come out and say anything. Now, granted, it was just a public intoxication. They couldn't really do anything, like 6 months in jail, I guess I was told. But that wouldn't happen to me because it was my first offense or anything like that. But I feel like the agents and the lawyers have had more go wrong for them when people speak than go right. So I would assume the safe option is always like, don't say anything. And if you're dealing with players who haven't necessarily been PR coached or things like that, players could be saying things that they don't even know are making them look bad. So agents are always just like, I think, in the mindset that, hey, the less you say, the better, as opposed to anything else. Now, if somebody was to say it to me now, in my particular case, like that, I would be like, yeah, okay, sounds good. I'm probably better at this than you are. Go ahead and take a hike. But I think with a lot of players, they're told not to say anything because you don't want to mess anything up, right? Like, hey, let's not mess this up. Let's get this deal done. The agents are like, we'll be able to do that for you as long as you don't mess it up. Just don't say anything. But in the PR world, that doesn't make any sense. You have to at least leak some information to give your side of the case. Like, for instance, if Dak Prescott's people would leak just a little bit on why they're, the 105 or whatever is guaranteed, but it's not for until blah, 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 and it's also leaving out blah, blah, blah. Like, at least then it would make a little bit of sense. But anytime you're talking to basic humans, including myself, and I hear $105 million guaranteed, it's a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
Hey, that's generational wealth, pal. Let's not get caught up in what Patrick Mahomes is potentially going to get paid, because you never want to leave your for show money looking for more money, because you might end up with no money. We got to get to a break. Speaking of no money, Gumpy's about to read one. We got to get to a break. On the other side, we'll take some phone calls. We'll talk about the CBA, which is still happening. Still split. Players are still split. Now it's come out that some of the owners are hoping the players don't take the deal because they want 18 games anyways.
Yikes.
Have them strike is what the owners say. Have them strike. We'll sit down. Hey, I don't worry about them sitting out for a year. Who's got more money, them or us? We'll make them play 18 when they get back, too. They don't even know. That's probably what some billionaires actually thinking. It's a wild world. A lot of money out there. Speaking of money, Gumpy's got to do an ad read. Good luck out there, pal.
When's the last time you were driving through a storm and thought, wow, I love not being able to see when I drive?
Never.
Yeah, you probably haven't. Now driving in bad weather doesn't have to be a headache, thanks to the new Michelin Endurance XT Silicone Wiper Blade.
Oh!
These
Good
blades
emphasis on
last
it.
through everything. To prove it, Michelin just put their new Endurance XT Silicone Wiper Blades to the test on a world record-breaking 16,000-mile drive from Alaska to Argentina.
Is that even possible? You're from Canada up near there, aren't you?
There's only one man that could do it. To show just how durable these blades are, Rainer Zietlow was the man behind the wheel.
It's not his name.
And he put the Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades through ice, snow, rain, thunder, and wind. And
Thunder?
the blades took all of it.
Thunder? They took the thunder?
All of it.
They could probably handle
Vibrations.
415s in Encino wires. And then I heard boom from the amp. The XT silicone wiper blades can handle that.
Yeah,
from
for
the,
sure.
the vibrations of the thunder.
These blades are crafted for extreme weather performance. With an advanced quad tech 4-layer coated silicone.
Why would
that-
they put thunder in there?
No idea.
Every time I read it, I was very confused.
Yeah. Control the electricity.
Oh, there is no electricity in thunder.
It's lightning, isn't it?
that repels water, snow, and ice and lasts 2 times longer than other blades.
I'm sorry. Did you graduate college too up there?
I did. That was just a classic mix-up. That's all that was. Just what? Chalk that up for a classic mix-up.
The Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades are real-world proven for extreme weather performance.
Yeah.
Upgrade to the Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades today only at Walmart.
Not a bad ad read there. Those things are legit. I have them on my truck, but that ad read's an interesting one. Back on the other side, it's the Pat McAfee Show.
It's happening. People are freeing themselves from their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple.
Get truly unlimited data on a 5G-ready network for just $45 a month.
With no contract ever.
Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
Hey, here's some shit we talked about before. I have one question I have to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
You pushed off on that Saints touchdown or no?
Absolutely not. We've talked about this. It's a reviewable play. Like the rule was changed for them because of what happened the year prior in the exact same stadium. So if anyone was going to get called for OPI in that situation, it was going to be me in that stadium because of that rule. Didn't happen. They reviewed the play and we carried on.
I just don't. Kyle, it sure looked like you did the exact same thing that George Kittle did in the Super Bowl.
See, I had my arm out, but I never pushed. Like that's the thing. As an offensive player, like if I want to keep you there, I'll keep you there. That's not a push. Like they grab, we hand fight, all that. It's the extension. That's what gets you. Like if I just keep you at bay, now I'm not pushing.
Hey, couldn't make it more clear than that. I mean, what you just said broke it all. We can't thank you enough for joining us. You're the absolute best. Enjoy your Pilates, enjoy your push-offs, and have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
You push that guy. Hey, you push that guy.
I did not.
Your daughter's in the room. Do not lie in front of your daughter.
We can ask her. She'll tell you it was a touchdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, Animal Kyle Rudolph. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here Monday, March 9th. Man, things are flying, by the way. March Madness right around the corner. Conference championship, or conference games this weekend, little small schools. Good to see a little college basketball out there. I'm not the biggest fan. I love March Madness. I'm not the biggest fan of college basketball. If I want to see people miss jumpers, I'd go to the YMCA. But I can understand the passion and things like that. The thought of a potential March Madness, which, by the way, is I love March Madness. So everything I just said about college basketball in the level of play, I understand that there are some great teams, but boy, a lot of them stink. And but I love March Madness. I love March Madness, mostly because the West Virginia squad that I tend to pull for because, we're drinking from the same waters over there in Morgantown. Bob Huggins is March Madness champ. I mean, he's a good coach in there. So I'm looking for them to make a big run. But this weekend, to be honest, my favorite thing I watched was NBA. I watched the Los Angeles Lakers play the Los Angeles Clippers yesterday, and it was awesome. It was playoff basketball in the middle of March between two teams that are currently being talked about as the future champs. Now, granted, the Bucks, who got beat by the Lakers on Friday, they're also in contention. Obviously, the Pelicans are 4 games out of the 8th seed on the West. Now, listen, if the Pelicans get in, I will immediately shift my heart from Los Angeles to New Orleans for the playoffs run. I'm a Pelicans fan. Everybody calls me Patty Pelicans. But yesterday, watching that Lakers-Clippers game, Clippers home game, a lot of Lakers fan there. It was beautiful. Both sides were taking it very serious. Both sides knew what was on the line. And I think both sides wanted to get a taste of what could potentially be a matchup. They're like, all right, let's play just so we can figure out some things we might have to figure out going into the playoffs so we can get an edge. And LeBron James, at the age of 35 in year 17, put on an absolute show. This dude, in a world of basketball that's talking about, resting players and all this type of stuff, Bron goes back-to-back. LeBron in year 17, age of 35, is still yakking on people. He has transformed his body like 6 years ago to become this entirely new conditioned player. He has been a guy that has basically been the forefront of athletes for a long time. LeBron James, you got to remember, was on Sports Illustrated when he was like 12 years old or something like that. He had a Hummer driving around the hood in Ohio whenever he was like 16, 17 years old. He had his own shoe line as a teenager. He had all the hype in the world, and all he's done is live up to the hype. He's played more basketball than anybody else for the last 10 years. He's in the finals, what seems to be every single year. Aside from last year, he took an off year in L.A., went out to L.A., started drinking wine during games, before games. But since then, LeBron has been the face of what an athlete should be. And watching him yesterday dive on the floor for loose balls, playing defense, locking people down, taking it to the rack, getting fouled. And if not getting fouled, they're so aggressive trying to block his layup that there's a follow-up easy dunk. I mean, LeBron at this age, in this time of his career, in a sport that involves a lot of running, a lot of conditioning, a lot of prep, a lot of focus, the fact that he is still so damn dominant is awesome for the NBA and awesome for this year's playoffs coming on. Now, if that's what basketball is going to be like this year in the playoffs, because they're saying there's a lot of good teams this year. So they're saying there's a lot of competition. Houston, who's hit a cold streak, is going to be in. The Clippers, LA, the Bucks, potentially the Pelicans getting in there. I mean, there's going to be a lot of great basketball players playing basketball for a couple months. I'm excited for the NBA playoffs, and I thank the Clippers and the Lakers yesterday for giving us a preview of what it's going to be like.
Because of how mundane and long the NBA season is, I tend to forget when you have two teams that are very good, how entertaining that basketball is. That's one of my favorite things to watch.
It was awesome. You're talking about the best athletes in the world, right? These guys are 6'6", 6'8". They can all jump really high. In a sport that involves a lot of strategy and a lot of athletic skill, it's just awesome when you get two teams that know what's on the line and show out for it. Paul George and Kawhi had great games. Everybody on the Lakers seemed to show up. Vogel, by the way, is, I think, handling being LeBron's coach the best out of anybody that's handled being LeBron's coach. There was a moment yesterday, I think it was third quarter or fourth quarter, LeBron was yelling at the ref from the deep end of the bench. And the ref was at midcourt, and Frank Vogel was standing in the middle, right? So LeBron is yelling over his head coach to yell at the ref. And there was a lot of give and take. And Frank Vogel just stood there almost, looked at the ref, and was like, have you heard him? He didn't try to stop LeBron. He didn't try to say anything to the ref he doesn't. Look, Frank Vogel was just like, yeah, man, ref, you and I both know this is this guy's league if he wants to do it. I think the way Vogel has been able to balance that relationship, and with Anthony Davis and LeBron seeming to really like each other and feed off each other. Now, Anthony Davis licking his fingers and then spreading coronavirus to everybody in the arena was a wild move. But that team, I think, was a lot of fun, and that game was a lot of fun. And if I'm an NBA, we'll talk about Steve Koonin, friend of the show's idea, CEO of the Atlanta Hawks, to move NBA basically starting on Christmas, moving it back so it doesn't compete with the NFL. So the mundane season that was just talked about by Ty there isn't something. It's like a nice, I don't want to say hit it, quit it type season, but it is. It's like, hey, let's go. We're going full speed here, which will be smart to shorten the season. But whenever you get two teams that are good and that know that they're good and know that something's on the line, and there's even some personal beef between Patrick Beverly and LeBron. He's trying to cook that up going into the playoffs. And you got Kuzma putting the crown back on LeBron because I guess there's a commercial in L.A. with Kawhi claiming to be the king of L.A. I mean, it's just, yesterday was a beautiful day for basketball, and I was very happy I got to watch it.
What I love about this matchup is that Anthony Davis and LeBron and then Kawhi and Paul George are going to get there. So they both combined for 58 on both sides. But then it's like, who is going to be the third guy on one of these teams to step up? And yesterday it was Avery Bradley, and that's normally who's going to win the game between these two teams.
Kuzma, too. Kuzma had a hell of a game as well. I think LeBron's still the best player on earth, though.
Yeah.
By far, yeah.
Best player on earth. When he wants to be. Now, I assume he doesn't go ham every single night. He's 35 years old, and there's a lot of running. But he is by far the best player on earth whenever he wants to be. The fact that he is just diving on the floor, right? Regular season game, they have the best record in the West. Diving on the floor for a loose ball is just, it's awesome. And I know he's done a lot of things that are hateable, believe me. Taco Tuesday, it was not. It was him trying to sue Saban for a barbershop conversation. No, I mean, he's done a lot of things that people go, why are you doing that, LeBron? But aside from those couple fatal PR moves, and by fatal, I mean big, they're blown out of proportion because it was LeBron James. Aside from those, it feels like he's done everything right. And he, just like Tom Brady, might win another 3-4 championships by the way he's playing.
Do you think that LeBron will make it as far as 42-43 like Brady?
Well, it's a very different sport, right? It's a very, very, you can't compare those two. I think if you look at his age and what he does, I think it's already pretty comparable to Tom Brady being 40. They're running up and down the court. I mean, it's a run. Now, he's not taking big shots. He does get bumped up a little bit, I guess, but he's 6'8". He can handle it. Normally he's bigger than people, but Tom's not doing as much running, right? I guess his arm has to be loose, but so does LeBron's. I think what he's already done has been something that people will talk about. The last person to win an MVP at this age, if he was to win it this year, was Karl Malone in 1999. That's a long time ago. This is something that's unprecedented. It looks like he's not even slowing down by any means at all.
Well, and didn't LeBron say he wants to play with Bronny, who's like 15 or 16? So he's got at least another 4 years until he's in the league.
And I think that kid's going to be good, by the way.
Yeah,
he's got Drake sitting courtside. Let's go to Grant in Oklahoma. What's up, Grant?
Hey, Pat. I just wanted to talk about this Tom Brady situation. You did the hot take where you thought Tom Brady might go to his hometown team, the San Francisco 49ers.
It's not a hot take.
I'm telling you, it's not happening.
Okay.
Tom Brady is staying in New England. San Francisco is staying put with the heir apparent and Jimmy G. They will not pass on him. We're winning 7 more Super Bowls.
Are you a 49ers fan?
Yes, sir.
And you do not want Tom Brady as your quarterback? You'd rather have Jimmy G over Tom Brady as your quarterback? Are you going on record saying that?
Yes, sir.
Grant, see, you're dumb, though. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, I can't take you serious all of a sudden. Now, I know that Bill Belichick once wanted Jimmy G over Tom Brady, so that is a tough hill for me to take a stand on. But you think Tom Brady loses that Super Bowl for the San Francisco 49ers, or you think he wins the Super Bowl for you guys against the Chiefs?
I think it's hard for any team to go in there and beat that hot Kansas City team.
Yeah, but you had the lead already in the fourth quarter. You had the lead. You had the entire thing. You think Tom Brady gives up that lead against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl with that team?
Probably not.
The answer's no.
The answer's no. So there's one
the way
Super Bowl.
The way I see it, I'm looking at the big picture. I see Tom Brady is in the league like, 2-3 more years max.
TB12 treatment, avocado ice cream. Maybe it's another 3-4 years.
Maybe 5.
And Jimmy G, you don't know what's going to happen. What if he decides to zig instead of zag again and blows out his knee again? I mean, that could happen. Everybody in the NFL is on one-day contracts.
You're absolutely right.
Grant, don't back
totally
down that
wrong
easy.
in this
That was no
situation.
fun. That was no fun, Grant. Boomer. Boomer.
Actually, go Pokes, sir. Go Pokes.
We got to get to a break, and I can't hang up on him. We got to get to another break. It is 37 minutes after the hour. Niners fans, I guess not. They
What
don't.
are they doing? What are they thinking?
What do you mean by that, Boston Connor?
The guy that taught your current quarterback everything he knows, you don't want that guy?
It is very interesting.
Come on.
Tom Brady wins that Super Bowl, though. We all know it.
Even if he only plays 2 to 3 more years, wouldn't you trade that off for 2 to 3 Super Bowls?
With 49ers running game, he's going to have to throw the ball 12 times a game.
And when he does it, you got George Kittle and Antonio Brown.
Debo Samuel's pretty good, too.
Debo Samuel, and that defense is so good. I mean, if I'm a Niners fan, and there's a thought of this potentially happening. Now, by the way, Charlie Weiss let us know that nothing is Charlie Weiss.
He knows
Brady's
Tommy.
mouthpiece.
He knows Tommy.
Charlie Weiss, who's Tom Brady's mouthpiece, told us that nobody knows anything. But if he ends up at the 49ers somehow, I mean, they win all the time all of a sudden. They're potentially the dynasty of this decade.
What do you think Tom thought of Charlie when he was stuffing bacon sandwiches down his
Hey, Chuck, give me one of those.
I have heard legendary stories of Charlie Weiss just housing bacon sandwiches, and not the bacon sandwich that you're thinking of where it's like 6 pieces of bacon and maybe some American cheese.
Oh, like a BLT.
It's not like that. I've heard legendary stories about Charlie Weiss eating bacon sandwiches with 100 pieces of bacon. just a mountain of bacon, just taking it to the face. Love that man.
Good for him.
It's Tommy Brady's mouthpiece. He does that. I love Charlie Weiss. You can hear him on Sirius XM NFL Radio, from what I've heard. We're back on the other side of this Pat McAfee show. It's the dumbest show of all time.
At Simple Mobile, you get the no contract advantage. Unlimited talk, text, and data now for $30 a month. Now on a 5G ready network with no activation fees ever. No confusion, no complexity, no frustration, and no contract. Ever, ever, ever. Now get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a month. And now 5G ready. It's our best deal ever. Buy yours now at nationwide retailers or at Simple Mobile dealers. Learn more at simplemobile.com. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. So we do have on record that 49ers fans think that if Tom Brady was playing quarterback for them in the Super Bowl, they'd probably win that Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. But we do have on record that 49ers fans don't want Tom Brady. It's interesting. Fools. Sometimes we don't get a chance to cover everything that we're supposed to cover in a live show. That's why we have my friend Nick with things that are happening with our friend Nick.
On this day 23 years ago, the Notorious B.I.G. passed away.
Rest in peace. Moment of silence for Big E. Moment pass. Rest in peace to him. Guy, have you guys seen Hip Hop Evolution, the series on Netflix? Mm-hmm. Worth a watch. The entire East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing is pretty awesome to kind of see the inside scenes of it. It was wild. That was, back in the day with the Source Awards and all that stuff whenever it was going down. Tupac guys in Vegas, allegedly. I don't know. Could be down there in Jamaica, Diggs says. I don't know. Rest in peace to Biggie, though. What else, Nick?
UFC 248 was this weekend, and the ladies stole the show. Weili Zhang took on Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Nailed it.
What's her name?
Jędrzejczyk.
One more?
Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, all right, yeah. Obviously, we all saw Joanna, I believe, on the internet this weekend. If you saw the fights, and Joe Rogan, by the way, praising this fight as one of the best fights he's ever seen. Zito literally asked for us to talk about it, and then now...
I had a build-up photo, but... I had a photo showing up the fight before, and then there was the actual thing. But yeah, go ahead.
One of the worst bruises and lumps on a head that I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, honestly, whenever you decide to step into that cage to go fight another human, the amount of gut sack that you have to have is just next level. That's why I will buy basically every single UFC fight just strictly to see the humans that have that in their brain, that they're willing to go gladiator style like the Romans, cage us in here, we'll scrap, and then we'll see what happens on the other side. Because that could potentially happen to somebody, and that is just her cranium blew up 4 sizes too. I mean, I have no idea what happened. I have no idea what the outcome was. But legendary fight, legendary outcome, and congrats to...
Joanna.
No.
Weili Zhang.
Yeah, there you go. Weili Zhang.
Is that the brain just blowing up?
That can't be good.
I have no idea what that... Because whenever you get a gooner on your eye or whatever, it kind of it blows up. Mm-hmm. I think her whole head did that. That's very... I have no idea... That is just a wild scene.
Show fat head.
And that's why, honestly, I won't let Zito get into the cage, because that could happen to Zito. And I'm looking, Zito wants to get in there, and I'm saying no. Anything else, Nick?
North Korea launched 3 projectiles towards the waters of Japan.
The Sea of Japan.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, but let's not ruin the marketing here with the waters of Japan.
I mean, they're waters there.
We don't know that if it's water at this point. That thing could just be a microwave. For those that don't know, that are new to this show, before Kim Jong-un became a national topic of conversation, we had been covering him on my podcast for a long time, because my first trip to Los Angeles was the day I landed in Los Angeles, my first ever time in LA. Here we are. This is LA. I've heard all about it. Can't wait to enjoy it. Boom, boom, boom. Check into my hotel. Turn on the TV. It is a video of Kim Jong-un on a map in North Korea drawing arrows to where he's going to bomb in America. And the first arrow he drew was to Los Angeles. And I was like, are you kidding me? As soon as I get here day one, Kim Jong-un from North Korea is going to bomb Los Angeles, okay? So then I started doing my research on Kim Jong-un, and I learned he's the greatest troll to ever exist. With a straight face, has told people that he has shot in 18 holes of golf. Like, this guy is just next level. So I realized, like, okay, this guy is not that big of a problem. So then as it continued to go, the only updates you would hear from North Korea is that they just fired off another missile. What they never said at the end of that was all these missiles are just ending up in the Sea of Japan, which is right next to North Korea. So our immediate thought, because we are a caring group, was, what about the fish in the Sea of Japan? What about the fish? So I made a song called R.I.P. Sea of Japan, as the raptivist with Sean Latham, $20 Chef. We made an entire song about it. You can check that out now where all songs are. But just know that Kim Jong-un, he wants to send those missiles a long way. He just can't do it. Those things can't make it past that bay. And that's a real problem for Japan. That's a real problem for other people that are near there. South Korea, that's a problem for them. But over here in America, from what I've gathered, we are very safe because that thing ain't going to spread like coronavirus. That thing's going up and then straight back down. That's what North Korea missiles do, from what I've been told. This is not from my research.
By the way, #1 song on the charts.
It was. We were #1 on the comedy music charts for 3 days or something like that.
Pretty good.
Something like
no
that.
big deal. That doesn't get talked about. I should put that on my Twitter bio. Let's go to Sean in West Virginia. Sean, what's going on, pal?
Hey, good morning, Pat.
Hey, good morning to you, Sean. How's your Monday?
Go ahead.
10-4?
Just wanted to call in and say that thanks to Boston Connor's song, Brady is coming back to New England, but not as a Patriot. He'll be coming back in Raiders black and silver when the Raiders play in New England this season. It'll be on Monday Night Football with Peyton Manning in the booth, and he'll be alongside Odell Beckham Jr. when the Raiders trade one of their 2 first-round picks. What are your thoughts?
I like it, Sean. I like what's possible. Him going to the Raiders, I guess, is very possible. Him and Mark Davis seem to have a joyful conversation at the UFC fight. Gruden loves a veteran quarterback. They could get a weapon. Would they bring Antonio Brown back? I don't think so. That could be one little outlier there, but that is a possible landing spot. The Tennessee Titans, also a landing spot. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, potential landing spot. You name it, Tom Brady could be their quarterback. But for us in this room, if Tom Brady is strictly going off, now this is kind of interesting. This is very interesting because does Tom Brady just say like, "Oh, you already got a girlfriend, but I'm coming in"? Like what? Like Tom Brady, is he just looking at teams that potentially have an inferior quarterback to him and saying, "I want to be quarterback of that team"? Because that's a wild move. Because that's the only way this 49ers thing would happen is if he's looking around the NFL, he's like, "I'm better than Jimmy G. Get him out of there." What is that? How it works?
Supposed to be his friend.
Is that how it works? I don't know how it works. Like, how did the 49ers, aside from us just lobbing it into the universe the day after the Super Bowl, but we didn't talk about it from that point for a month. Then all of a sudden the media were like, 49ers, Tom Brady is a potential thing. 49ers, Tom Brady is a potential thing. Well, how does that work? Does Tom Brady just kind of look around the NFL and go like, that team stinks, let me go in there?
I think it's the childhood team thing.
Yeah, let me go back home. Mm-hmm. I'm happy Ben Roethlisberger's back because if Tom Brady did this to our guy Duck, I'd be so upset. Looked around the league, saw the Steelers quarterback. He's like, Duck Hodges, I'm better than him. Get me in there. That'd be tough.
Do you think he's had any communication with Garoppolo? Like, hey, I'm sorry, but you might want to pack your bags.
Derek Carr started trolling whenever all the conversation were talking about him going to the Raiders. Jimmy G, to his credit, has not done a single thing. Now, John Lynch just 2 weeks ago at the Combine said, we are committed to Jimmy. He's nowhere near his ceiling and all this stuff. But the NFL has been known to lie before. The NFL has been known to lie before. Let's go to Camden in Amarillo, Texas. Camden, what's going on, pal? Sounds like you're on truck out there.
Yeah, out here in the truck. Hey, I was calling because I wanted to ask about the accountability buddies. You said at the beginning of the year, you, Cuban Z, and Tone Diggs, for $500 a day, we're going to work out and eat healthy. What happened to that, and what's that total at, Pat?
No, total's at 0, pal. It was not good. It was not good. We were all on different schedules. Diggs didn't want to start till the end of the football season. Zito was delaying at any possible opportunity he had. I didn't have a real need to get into shape. We bailed early, Camden, and we let a lot of people down, and I very much understand that, but we just couldn't get it together until like the last 2-3 weeks, to be honest with you.
Well, hopefully he can get together. Maybe we can start that up again. I don't know. Just an idea.
What are you trying to say about me?
Well, he wants us to give away money.
Oh,
He's not saying anything about you. He's not saying anything about... Because we did let people down. The reason why we're giving out money was to hopefully make us not feel as if we're letting people down. We let everybody down.
I mean, it wasn't a promise. You know, you're just trying to better yourself, and you're still getting there.
It took us a while to get there, though. It's one of those things where you have to flip a switch. Like this weekend, I walked past an entire aisle of Reese's Easter eggs.
It's that time of year.
Didn't even look at it. Just walked right by it. Because I flipped the switch. I would like to, not be fat anymore. But it's hard to get there. It honestly is. Go take a dump. We're back in 5 minutes on the other side with a great second hour with Mark Schlereth. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
One by one, it's happening. People are freeing themselves from the hassle and frustration of their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple. Simple Mobile. Truly unlimited, high-speed talk, text, and data on a 5G-ready network. And no contract. Ever.
Get truly unlimited data on a 5G-ready network for just $45 a month. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
We are very much live on the YouTube, youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. And sometimes we like to dive into the cleanest, most noble place on earth, the YouTube comment section.
Our question here is from Anthony Batagalia.
Paisan.
What was a better feeling, the holiday hit or the self-onside kick against Houston?
Self-onside kick. Yeah. Holiday hit, you black out whenever you're on the field. So what happened there, whenever I'm tackling Trendon Holiday, it's the most athletic moment of my life that begins with a fail. That's supposed to be a touchback, right? That kickoff is supposed to be out of the back of the end zone because Trendon Holiday, Olympic sprinter, world-class speed. The guy runs very fast. In that particular year, he was busting people wide open on returns. Big game. Peyton Manning was coming back to Indianapolis for the first time since he left. This is a big, big deal. So let's not let Trendon Holiday steal the show, was our mindset going in. So for kickoffs, we're just going to kick it out of the back of the end zone. And for punts, we're going to try to get fair catches. So as soon as I kick that ball off, I'm like, is it going? And I see Trendon back up, and I see his eyes get big. And I'm like, well, there's a fail. These guys aren't supposed to be covering a kick anyways. And I think the rest of the coverage team was like, all right, we're kicking this out of the back of the end zone. So this is on Pat, basically. And it kind of looked like that. He covers it like 6 yards deep. So I was only like 5 yards off or something like that, which is a long way when it comes to kicking. That was quite a miss. Then he starts breaking, and I see it becomes like the Red Sea. And I always use like the bait and tackle. People do that in fishing. I did that for real. I would always let people think that they could get the sideline, and then hopefully my little stumpy Caucasian legs would be able to get up fast enough, and I'd be able to close the angle. That was always my technique. In college, I did it when I was bigger and faster than some of the returners. In the NFL, I'd do it against all the returners. It didn't always work. I tried to do it against Antonio Brown. He just stuck his foot in the ground and shook me. I tried to do it to Julian Edelman one time. Same thing. I think I have a weakness, and that's if somebody gives me with a big stick, I'm going to go for it. So Trendon Holiday had the sideline, and I closed my eyes, ran as fast as I could, and obviously I shinked him. And I did like a punch tackle because I had good leverage on him. But there was very much a chance where I was running full speed, he was running full speed, and I wasn't going to get him. Like, there was a chance I was just going to whiff completely and just go right into the Broncos. Blind squirrel found a nut. I tackle him. He goes down right in front of the entire sideline. The guy that's supposed to block me, Joel Dreesen, gets upset because I hit him with a little bit of a spin move because he didn't think I was going to try, which on film I never did if anybody tried to block me. So that's on me, Joel. I apologize for that. That is not your fault. So I make that tackle. I pop back up. Place is going absolutely ape shit, obviously. The crowd's going, and all I notice is like, we just gave up a 50-yard drive start right there. We just gave a 50-yard line drive start to Peyton Manning. Like that, my stats are completely fucked right now. My field position is screwed, but everybody seems to be happy, right? Everybody seems to be pretty happy about it. So I'm jogging. Some people come over and slap me in the head. The ref comes up to me, asks me if I'm all right because I don't wear a mouth guard. But I didn't even really fully know what happened until I looked up on the Jumbotron, saw it, and I was like, oh, fuck, look at that there. And then I sit back down, and then everybody forgets about it, right? Doesn't matter. For that onside kick, we drove down, we scored after that. I think it was just like something that I'd made tackles before. I'd never recovered my own onside kick, and I don't think to that point anybody in the NFL had recovered their own onside kick. And the fact that I got to call it myself, basically, which only adds to the pressure where if I don't get that, good chance I'm getting. Pat, what was that? What did you just do there? Well, I thought you thought, huh? You know what I thought? I thought we could find a new fucking punter.
So is there an audible call in like when you're on like
yeah. So the move was, since we had hit an onside kick, we had hit a surprise onside kick to the right, and we had shown a surprise onside kick to the left. We knew that return teams are going to be kind of fucked. So in my head, it was always like, hey, somebody's going to leave the middle of the field wide open. I would like to be able to kick to myself. They're like, nobody will ever do that. I was like, all right, but what if they do? They're like, nobody will ever do that. I was like, what if they do? So I said, hey, if I hit my hamstrings while I'm putting the ball down, the two guys, Colt Anderson's on one side from Montana, and I forget the other side, they were the ones that controlled when the people would roll. I was like, if I hit my hamstrings, just keep everybody out. So we finally got to look against the Houston Texans, and as I was putting the ball down, I looked up, I see a guy over there, and I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. So I hit the hammies, and I look over at Colt, and I see Colt going like, oh, yeah, this is it. And it just so happened, nobody even touched me. When I got on the ball, I thought my kidneys were going to get blown out by helmets and everything like that. Nothing happened. We moved forward. That's the most athletic moment in my life, and I think that's the biggest one of my NFL career. The tackle on holiday, though, will be talked about forever. But I think I got a concussion to it.
YouTube questions.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not a young medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
You're damn right it is, Chase Rice. We appreciate you for that free intro. Joining me on this beautiful Monday, March 9th already. March Madness begins right around the corner. Then free agency is happening as well. It's going to be a beautiful March. At Nick Morato's on the ones and twos. At Tone Diggs, Ty Schmidt, Jason McAfee. Cuban Zeke is looking better than ever.
How we doing?
How are you doing?
Doing good.
How you doing?
Hey, doing good.
You look good. You look better than I think I've seen you in a long time. Does he not?
No, I agree.
You look better than I've seen you in a long time, Zeke. I'm proud of you. At Evan Foxy, who always looks handsome. And Connor Campbell is on the phones in the back, 1-833-622-3331. Joining us. What's that?
Who always looks handsome.
Who?
You forgot that on when you said my name.
What?
Connor Campbell in the back, who also always looks handsome.
Moving on.
That's what you were gonna say earlier. You told me.
Has anybody ever said that?
You told me earlier. That's what you were gonna say.
No, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
No.
We got X'd out.
Somebody was lying to you earlier.
No, you said
Me.
that's what you're gonna say. Yeah.
No, Jason might have said that.
No, Jay told me no. You said that.
Connor, you do look good. The hair is terrible, but you do look good. I'm happy you wear a hat. It's good for our show. YouTube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. If you'd like to get an entire look at things. Also joining us illegally is a man from Canada, Gumpy.
Thank you.
Gumpy, what are the possibilities of you being here in America as being an illegal immigrant? Could you get arrested for what you're doing, or would you just get shipped back?
I think once I get into the country, it's all right. But if there's something happens at customs, then it's an issue.
So you feel like Johnny Depp, George Young coming through customs without the drugs, though? You're just coming in here to steal Americans' money?
Every time I get through customs, I just look at the flag and get it.
Oh, Black Betty, oh, Black Betty. That's one of the best scenes. One of the best scenes in, I don't want to say movie history.
No, you can.
Oh, yeah.
It's up there.
It is. It's a good scene when he's coming out of that airport. He's got all the drugs, false bottoms. Back in the day, they used to be able to just move wherever they wanted. Before TSA was even a thing, they were just walking on there with guns and drugs. I just tape it to the inside of her thigh. That locked up a broad. They used to just tape like bags of marijuana to people's thighs, and they'd be like, "Oh, big sweatpants." Just back in the day, I feel like everybody was just smuggling something.
That's why parachute pants were so big.
Legit, MC Hammer was just moving weight around. Have we gotten an update on my guy Quan Bray and
No.
Greg Robinson?
I don't think so.
Are they in jail right now in Texas?
I would assume so, right?
I watched 60 Days In this weekend. You ever seen that show on A&E? It's where a bunch of normal humans decide to go into jail for 60 days as a social experiment to help the warden teach him about his jail and stuff like that. There's this jail in Alabama that they did in season 2, and the new warden, the new sheriff, whenever he became the sheriff or whatever and warden of the jail, they did an inspection of the jail. It was the first time in 3 years the jail had been inspected. So the jail had not been shook down or anything like that for 3 years. These dudes were just living like savages in there. There was just like a sword in one guy's bed. I mean, it was like an entire thing. And then these fans are like, the sheriff's like, we need to figure out what the problem in our jail is. I'm like, well, first one, you didn't do a search for 3 years. That's probably the first problem. That was before I got here. I would like to send in these innocent humans into jail to kind of experiment this thing. They all tapped out within 2 days. They're like, get me out of here. X up, hard up, get me the hell out of here. Jail is, Ryan Leaf said it. The way Ryan Leaf described jail, 48 channels on television, red zone on Sundays, 3 meals. He slept into 11. Everything I've ever seen about jail is not like that. I think he went to a different jail.
Yeah, well, when you're 7 feet, you get all the benefits. They don't treat you like crap. They give you all the good things.
He's a big man, by the way. Don't want to go to jail. 60 days in, though, worth a watch, I think. I think people enjoying that. I saw some movie this weekend, too. I forget what it was.
Oh, Mark Wahlberg one?
Oh, yeah.
Spencer,
Spencer Confidential.
That was pretty good.
Pretty good movie.
I was surprised how good it was.
Pretty good movie. I mean, it was just Mark Wahlberg
Classic
was
Wahlberg.
throwing himself in a situation he shouldn't be in. But, I mean, that's just classic Wahlberg.
Just went and drove the truck.
Just go drive the truck, Ball. Instead, he drives the trucks through humans and stuff. I mean, I like the movie a lot, though. Is that only on Netflix?
Yes.
Good for Mark Wahlberg getting that Netflix money. Good for him. I watched Narcos Mexico a little bit. Saw Curb Your Enthusiasm last night. I mean, we're a big watch party.
I like what you're doing.
And then I watched Lakers Clippers, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. I'm becoming a very well-rounded individual right now, and I don't know. I think I'm getting sick of it.
That's what off-season does. NFL off-season does that.
I'm losing weight. Also, when you can't just go out and eat everything, you have to find other things to do. It's so much easier.
Your cooking session looked really cool.
Oh, Chef Pat's Kitchen this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? What were you making?
Excuse me?
Well,
The greatest steaks of all time.
Well, I figured, but I mean,
I have no idea.
The marinades you put it in and everything, those look delicious.
Worcestershire sauce. A.Q. Shipley called me an amateur hack for putting marinade on a steak. That's what he said. You don't need to marinate your steak. You marinate chicken, Pat.
Well, he also put a glass on his stove.
Yeah, he had a bomb. He had a homemade bomb.
So.
Oh, I watched something on a Unabomber this weekend. Yeah.
Oh, the mind of the Unabomber?
No, it was something. It was like in his own words or something like that.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
He's a maniac, that guy. He did not like people. He did not
Why
like
they call him the Unibomber?
Old Ted.
Unibrow?
I didn't get to that part, but I'm not 100% sure.
Because it was just him.
He was the only bomber.
Solo. He was the solo bomber.
Is that really why they called him Unabomber?
I don't know. That's a damn
Jay's
good
saying
guess.
no.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate.
I'm on it.
All right, let's get to Tom Brady. Let's get to sports. That's what people tune in for.
Old Tommy.
Charlie Weiss is now the official spokesperson for Tom Brady. Tommy Brady. Charlie Weiss went on Golick and Wingo this morning, ESPN Radio's morning show, and he spoke directly about the Tommy Brady situation. He said he and Tommy Brady have been texting, and that Tommy Brady told him that if anybody is saying they know anything, they don't. Because in Charlie Weiss's, the way it sounded like, is Tom doesn't even know what Tom wants to do. And then he's told Tom Brady told Charlie Weiss to clean it up. Clean up what people are saying. So now Charlie Weiss is going on a PR tour cleaning up the things that are being said about Tom Brady. Anybody who says that they know something is wrong. Nobody knows anything, says Tom Brady through his mouthpiece, Charlie Weiss. I would have never thought that Charlie Weiss would be Tom Brady's mouthpiece, but I respect it, by the way. The fact that Tom Brady has this much loyalty to a guy that had a lot of success with him back in the day tells you a lot about Tom Brady. Tom Brady probably doesn't want a lot of people into his circle, but if you get in there, he's appreciative of it, and now he's taking care of Charlie Weiss, making Charlie Weiss relevant for the first time, 10 years?
Yeah.
Probably 10 years. We've heard stories of Charlie Weiss's legend off the field eating bacon sandwiches that had 100 pieces of bacon on it and stuff like that. But we've all seen his incredible work on the field as well. The man is an offensive guru, an offensive wizard. He never played football, was just able to coach it well, guided Tom Brady to a lot of success, then got a head coaching gig at Notre Dame. Then he was also at
KU, Kansas.
Are you confusing him and Mangino?
No, he was the head coach at Kansas, too.
Dicks. There's no reason for you.
I mean, Christ.
They don't all look the same.
Quit fan shaming.
He was the OC at Florida, too, for a while.
Anyways, he's been around. Now he has a show on SiriusXM NFL Radio, and he says that Tom Brady tells him that nobody knows anything. If that is accurate and nobody knows anything, then everything that is said about Tom Brady via these insiders has to come with the thought of who is giving this person this information. Because if Tommy doesn't know anything, how does anybody around him know anything? Unless the information isn't coming from anybody around him, it's coming from the Patriots organization. It's coming from people who are maybe from other players, other teams, trying to guide things. Everything right now is a potential illusion to get Tom Brady to somewhere away from somewhere. And it sure feels like if you read through Field Yates's tweets, which sound like it's from somebody inside the Patriots organization, his information. The Patriots aren't 100% sure on what Tom Brady wants in contract negotiation, so that's why they feel as if they can't give him a contract offer. But what if the Patriots decide not to give Tom Brady a contract offer and Tom just walks out the door with no offer from the Patriots going wherever? It'll be a legit revenge tour, not only because he's a free agent for the first time in 20 years, not only because he heard that Bill Belichick wanted Jimmy G over him years ago, but because the team that he won 6 Super Bowls for and created a dynasty for has told him that you're not worth what somebody else who you've done nothing for is telling you you're worth. That's a wild scene. I can't wait to see how it plays out.
That would be absolutely wild. But do you think Tom Brady's camp was like, all right, we are definitely leaking stuff, but I'd like it to be out there that we're not? Who do we think we get out there and be our dog out there? Give the information to Chuck. Tell him to clean it up. He's our guy.
Charlie Weiss being a mouthpiece is wild. That is awesome. What if this is Charlie Weiss's new gig? What if Charlie Weiss is all of a sudden an advocate for people like Paul Heyman is in WWE? Charlie Weiss goes, ladies and gentlemen, your 6-time Super Bowl champion, Tommy Brady, doesn't want to answer anybody's questions. Is there a bacon sandwich here? I'll take 10. Then we will take no more questions. Unless you're listening to me on Sirius XM NFL Radio. Charlie Weiss cutting promos.
I hope so.
Clean it up. What does that mean? Clean it up. Does that mean, is Charlie Weiss going on a PR? We would like, if anybody knows Charlie Weiss, I'm not saying you do, we would love to have Tom Brady's mouthpiece on this show. If somebody could get Charlie Weiss on this show, I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions for Charlie Weiss.
I got a bacon guy.
Do you think... Do you actually buy that he is that tight with Brady? Like you said, we haven't heard from him in 10 years. I've never seen them really interact other than when he was coaching. They obviously live 2 very different lifestyles. I mean, I don't know. I just don't necessarily buy that they're super close. I mean, come on. Chuck Weiss is not a TB12 guy.
There was no reason to take that shot at Charlie Weiss. Charlie Weiss is an accomplished football coach.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the thought is, what was that face for, Nick?
I mean, he was an offense coordinator for a while, did pretty well, and then
started
the
to run.
Accomplishments run out after that.
Oh, come on.
Maybe they're
Nick.
close because they started, he was the OC during those first Super Bowls. That's
Yeah, they probably maybe still text each other, that type of thing.
Father figure for Tommy when he was coming into the league.
Hey, Tom's putting a lot of pressure on Charlie, by the way. You're going to be my mouthpiece. What if we put Charlie in a pretzel, him sitting on his thing, and he doesn't have the answers?
There'll be some mustard and cheese around him.
He's got big shoulders. He can handle it.
No, so Charlie, that text message conversation, imagine me starting to just kind of needle at that text message conversation with Charlie Weiss. Wait, Tom Brady's putting a lot of faith in a guy that is he a PR guru? Is Charlie Weiss a PR guru?
Sounds like he's going to get broken by a piece of bacon. It doesn't sound like he's a great PR guru. Bring out a plate for him. He'll spill everything.
Will you stop? Charlie Weiss is not a desperate man.
Hey, I love Charlie
he's
Weiss.
still getting
okay?
paid by Notre Dame.
Yeah, he's a brilliant businessman, Charlie Weiss. Is he really still getting paid by Notre Dame?
I think so.
He might be.
Do you work one of those deals? Who's that guy from the Mets who's still getting
Bonilla?
Bobby Bonilla, yeah.
Greatest deal of all time.
We need to work one of those deals with somebody. All right, for 45 years you're going to pay us. It's like a scratch off, dude. It's like the Publisher Clearinghouse. Steve Harvey's hosting that, by the way, now. I don't know if you guys have seen the commercial. Publisher Clearinghouse, you get $7,000 a month for the rest of your life.
Not
Steve,
a bad gig.
You got to sign up for it. You got to give them all your information, your Social Security, and everything. It's worth it, though. You could potentially win. You could win. You could win. Let's go to Jackson in Denver, Colorado. Jackson, what's going on, pal? This guy's higher.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute and I didn't realize it.
That's because you're so high, Jackson. That's because you're lost.
Talk about the Lakers.
You're just sniffing and smoking the devil's grass over there. Okay, you're saying yup to dope, And honestly, you're late on the draw on the phone call, Jackson. This is why people don't want the laws that are legalized in Denver to be legalized everywhere else. People get lazy. People get fat. They're rude to society, and they're late on a phone call, Jackson. Unbelievable, man.
I'm sorry, Pat. I really ruined it on this one, huh?
You're all right, Jackson. What's up, dude?
I just want to talk about the Lakers and their dominant weekend. Right now, it really seems like it's a one-team race, and no one can stop them. LeBron James is playing amazing. Anthony Davis is balling. I just don't really see right now how any other team can beat them in a 7-game series.
I respect that and like that thought. We actually talked about that in the first hour. At the age of 35 in year 17, LeBron James is the picture of what an athlete is supposed to be. The guy yesterday was diving on the floor for loose balls in a game that is just a regular season game that all players treated as if it was a playoff game. Lakers and Clippers took each other on yesterday in the Staples Center. It was a Clippers home game, but really felt like a Lakers home game. LeBron James diving on the floor, taking charges, flexing as if it was young LeBron after making a big play. It's just awesome to see. I'm happy that he and Anthony Davis seem to be getting along very well. I'm happy to see that these Lakers are balling. But most importantly, for the state of the NBA, I'm happy there's two teams that gave maximum effort in a regular season game and a highlight game Sunday. I'm very happy for the NBA. That was enjoyable television yesterday. But to say it's a one-team race is asinine. Absolutely asinine, Jackson. The Pelicans of New Orleans are only 4 games out of the 8th seed in the West. Don't let Zoe and Zion get hot in that playoffs, because they could potentially take the Lakers not only to 7 games, but probably knock them out in 4 if they really get hot. That cannot be understated enough.
What was the stat this morning that Zoe is shooting like 87% from 3 in the last
above 40.
46% his last 16 games.
That team's going to be very fun to watch for the next couple of years.
Lonzo is he's playing both sides of the ball. He's unreal.
Bro, he threw a full court oop within an inch of the rim. Lonzo Ball, and I said this in my intro, born and raised in LA, but he found his J in the NO. That's real. He found a much better basketball game in New Orleans than he had in Los Angeles. A lot of people are saying that's potentially because he's getting away from distractions off the court, but you team him up with an animal like Zion who can go and get it whenever. He did basically a vertical jump windmill dunk yesterday. Didn't really have a big run up, was just kind of walked into it and did a full windmill. It was nasty. It was absolutely nasty. Plus, Brandon Ingram's playing at a very high level. And let's not even talk about the 8-foot-tall Derek Favors. Yeah, he got yammed on last night, but sometimes that's going to happen. And Drew Holiday put up another 20 or something like that. I mean, the team is very good for the future. They're only 4 games out of the 8 seed in the West. So if they get hot, I think they could take them. But this Lakers team looks like they're built for the long haul. The Los Angeles Clippers were put together specifically to beat a LeBron James Los Angeles Lakers team. And it felt like yesterday, both teams were trying to feel out what they had to improve on for the playoff run, what they can maybe expose during the playoff run. And LeBron James, if he's going to play like that, Jackson, you're 100% right. I don't think they're stoppable at this point. And he's going back-to-back at the age of 35. I mean, it's insane what LeBron James has accomplished, and I'm nothing short of impressed.
The Lakers looked like more of a team yesterday, which makes sense because the Clippers haven't played all that much together. Mm-hmm. But what surprised me was Paul George and Kawhi. They both kind of just have the ball and hold on to it rather than LeBron. You know, he knows what he wants to do. Avery Bradley, big threes yesterday too.
Yeah, the LeBron is more of a distributor. Always has been. Which is why he was judged early, because he wasn't like Kobe. He wasn't like Jordan. He wasn't the guy that was just going to take the ball and take over a game. He's more of a facilitator while also being a dominant force. I think he saw a lot more of Magic Johnson's game in himself than the other two did. But, man, he's fun to watch. He still is. And he always draws attention. Anytime he took it to the rack yesterday, there was 3 Clippers trying to crash to swat it, and then just follow-up dunks were easy for Kuzma. And I mean, it looked like Frank Vogel, Coach of the Year over there, being able to handle the personalities, be able to handle the Los Angeles Lakers, be able to handle the Kobe Bryant passing. I mean, Frank Vogel is almost like the perfect guy to put in this situation. Indiana guy, by the way, from what I've been told, I think. Friends with him here when he was at the Pacers. I mean, good guy.
And if you're the Clippers, like, if you're going to foul LeBron, you're going to have to foul him a lot harder than you did yesterday, because every time you fouled him, it didn't even affect him, and he was getting easy 3-point plays.
And also, he might have took 75 seconds every time he was at the foul line.
Oh, very long pause.
Hey, it is getting longer and longer and longer. Who's the Clippers coach?
Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers at one point in fourth quarter, while LeBron was at the line, it was like a perfect shot. The Clippers bench was in the background, and LeBron was standing there, and it was in between like maybe his 6th and 7th breath with the ball up like this. And Doc Rivers stands up and goes like this, and he shoots it immediately afterwards because everybody on the court was falling into the lane, like trying to guess when he was just. I don't know how LeBron stays focused with the squeaks and the guys collapsing on the lane on either side as he holds it off, but LeBron has had to tinker with his foul shot a couple different times. Last year was the step back, and then he would shoot, and then he would fall into the lane basically before the ball would hit anything, and everybody was up in arms about it. They're like, he's touching before. They're like, it's also his league. So what do you want him to do?
He was
about
flirting with that 10-second violation on a free throw, which I've never been seen
this year,
ever seen called.
That's his new routine. It almost feels like
it's a time for rest to get his legs back.
Smart at the age of 35. So he tells the boys, Rondo, who's a little bit older, Anthony Davis been around. He's like, all right, guys, when I get fouled, I'm shooting 16 free throws a game, which is what I think he shot you 16 yesterday, or 14 or 16 yesterday. Whenever I'm in there, boys, just know we got a good amount of rest. Frank Vogel's probably running sprints, and he's like, all right, the rest is going to be however long LeBron takes at the foul line, and then they're back at it. It's awesome. 20 minutes after the hour, we got to get to a break. We got Mark Schlereth at 11:30 here on the East Coast, 8:30 on the West Coast. He's always a good conversation. I'm excited to hear what he has to say about Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, allegedly getting guaranteed $105 million, $33 a year from the Cowboys, and a nice PR spin by the Cowboys leaking that information. Also, the CBA negotiations. Get some phone calls. We got Bryce, Chris, Connor.
Hey now.
From Miami. Cody Jackson from Illinois. 2 Jacksons calling.
Oh, wow.
The Jackson 2. And then Ben, also in Illinois. Pretty good little Monday, March 9th. We'll see you on the other side of this Pat McAfee Show.
You get the no contract advantage. Unlimited talk, text, and data now for $30 a month. Now on a 5G ready network with no activation fees and no contract ever. That's our best deal ever. Simple Mobile, out with the old, in with the simple.
Did you know the perfect hire can have an impact on your business for years to come?
No.
So when you need to find that next person to help grow your business, LinkedIn Jobs will match the right talent with your open role fast. LinkedIn has over 675 million members worldwide, and they screen candidates with the hard and soft skills you're looking for.
What are soft skills, Ty?
It's like things like collaboration, creativity, adaptability. LinkedIn looks beyond the work skills and puts your job post in front of qualified candidates who match your business requirements perfectly. That's how LinkedIn makes sure your job post is seen by the people you want to hire. People with the skills, qualifications, and other interests that will help your business grow. It's no wonder a person is hired every 8 seconds with LinkedIn. And why companies rated LinkedIn Jobs the #1 hiring platform for delivering quality hires. Find the right person for your business today with LinkedIn Jobs. You can pay what you want and you get the first $50 off. Just visit linkedin.com/Pat. Again, that's linkedin.com/Pat to get $50 off your first job post.
That a boy, Ty.
Terms and conditions apply.
Obviously. Welcome back to the show here. Monday, March 9th, 2020. March is flying. March Madness right around the corner. So is NFL free agency. Joining us now is a man who's a 3-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowler, and chili maker. Ladies and gentlemen, Stink Mark Schlerin.
Hey, buddy. Good to be with you, Pat.
God, you look great. Where are you calling us from right now?
Well, I am in the dressing room at Fox. That's where I'm sitting right now.
Are you on TV today? I love whenever you're on that one show. What's
Speak for Yourself?
Speak for Yourself.
Yeah, I am on Speak for Yourself today. I'm going to be on Colin Cowherd a little bit from now. So, yeah, I got a full gamut of television coming at you today.
Well, Mark, that's because you're really good at what you do. Let's get right to it. Let's showcase those incredible abilities. Tom Brady, 42 years old, about to be 43. Everybody is saying that they think they know what's going on. Tom Brady leaks through Charlie Weiss, of all people, for Charlie Weiss to go tell people that nobody knows anything. Where do you sit in this Tom Brady saga, and what do you think ultimately happens? And are you surprised that Charlie Weiss is his mouthpiece?
You might as well, if you're going to have a mouthpiece, why not Charlie? I mean, Charlie's as good a mouthpiece as anybody else I know.
Concur.
You know what's interesting about this is, like, I would have thought, had you asked me a month ago, like 80% chance he just goes back to New England. That's where he's going to be. I think that's going to work out. But ultimately, like, this is the perfect plan for the New England Patriots to basically walk away from Tom Brady, right?
There it is.
Because it mitigates their responsibility towards Tom Brady. All of a sudden you say, hey, listen, man, he wanted to be a free agent. He wanted to test free agency. We can't afford to pay him $60 million for 2 years. You know, and there's some other teams that can do that. I look at, like, a place like the Chargers. They can't sell out a soccer stadium. Like, if he goes there, you're spending pennies to chase dollars with personal seat license and everything else, Pat.
Mark, to your point, what you just said, and we've been on, we thought that was a good idea too. New stadium, new team, basically. They're in a bad spot. They're clearing out some cap space. Now, they obviously signed Austin Eckler and some other players, so I don't know how much they have. But if he was to go to the Chargers, this post that he just put on Instagram would make a lot more sense. Deadline. Where is Tom Brady going next? Question mark. Hollywood to launch 199 Productions with the help of Avengers Endgame directors Joe and Anthony Russo. And Tom Brady goes on to say 7 minutes ago, he's excited to announce the world official launch of 199 Productions. When I was the 199th draft pick in 2000, I knew I needed to work hard every day to prove myself. Launching a production company is no different. So, LeBron James had 7 shows on television whenever he ended up going to the Los Angeles Lakers. Tom Brady launches a production company in Hollywood. Should we look into that as anything other than that's where he spends his offseason? Or do you think the Chargers are potentially moving up in his eyes as a potential landing spot?
Yeah, I think the Chargers make sense. I think the Raiders make sense. When you're selling, personal seat licenses and you're doing all those things, like the 49ers make sense. I mean, what a great homecoming that would be, right? That would be unbelievable. So I think there are a lot of teams. I think the biggest thing here is it gives the New England Patriots kind of an excuse. It mitigates them from the standpoint of, hey, we let the all-time greatest quarterback and the guy who's been the face of our franchise for 2 decades, we don't have any responsibility in that. Hey, he wanted to leave. He's got this $1.99 production company now. It's like, The Rock with his $7 production. Like, everybody seems to be making a production company. I don't know why. Do you have a production company, Pat?
Yeah.
You should have a production company.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's kind of what we do on a daily basis. We don't have we have more than $7. We have less than $1.99 productions, though. I think we're somewhere there in the middle. But it's also intriguing because no matter where he goes, you go, oh, I could see that. Like the Tennessee Titans, him and Vrabel are boys. Tannehill is on the market right now. They potentially have a need for a guy to maybe take them to a next step. And what's interesting, and tell me if this is interesting to you, he's 42 years old, almost 43 years old at this point, and he is a player that everybody on earth would want still to be their quarterback that knows anything, and that is a very intriguing thing with the TB12 treatment, how he still has got a lot of pop. How many years left do you think? How is it, a 3-year deal he signs for, 2-year deal? What do you think?
Yeah, I still think just watching him, like, he throws the ball with as much velocity, with as much accuracy, with like he doesn't look any different to me, and I've been following this game forever. He doesn't look any different to me than he was when he was 32 or 28. I mean, he still has the same amount of being able to create rotational, like ground force, creating rotational force, creating velocity in the football. So I don't see any, like, I don't see him falling off athletically. Like, he hasn't fallen off the map. He's always been great in the pocket. He knows the game, inside and out. He understands where he wants to go. So I still see him producing at an incredibly high level over the next couple of years if that's what he chooses to do. So I don't see any significant drop off in his game from an athletic standpoint. And one, he's never been a great athlete anyhow. He's a great quarterback. That's what he is. He's not a great. Did that throw you?
Well, he's never going to come on the show because of what you just said. Charlie Weiss is listening to this, Mark. You can't be saying that type of stuff.
Oh no, you don't think? Like, come on. I mean, you saw him run. You saw.
Let's not double down now, Mark.
Yeah, you've seen the pictures of the body. I mean, come on. Like, you don't have a great body, but you're an incredible athlete. You can't judge. That's why I hate the combine. I hate the combine with a white-hot intensity of 1,000 suns. Right? Some guy runs a really fast 40, and all of a sudden he's a great football player? No. Running a fast 40, you know what it makes you good at? Running 40s. That's all it makes you good at. Just like the bench press test. Right? Hey, the guy did a bunch of reps. It doesn't make you a great football player. It makes you great at benching. That's it. That's the only thing that really, that's all I hate the combine. I hate it.
Mark, I love hearing that from you, by the way, because you are a guy who would do well in all of those things. Even the bench press, you're still throwing up 3 plates, I think, whenever you walk into random gyms, just to alpha guys, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Is that accurate?
Yeah, no, I'll walk right up to a dude and say, hey, when you're done, when you're done dicking around on that machine, I'd like to use it, right? What are you doing with that? I said, come on, when you're done dicking around, I got some work to do, so get off there as quickly as possible. Yeah, absolutely.
But I get tweeted that, that punter did 25 reps or whatever, Turk did 25 reps on bench or whatever. They're like, look at this monster. I'm like, can he kick a ball, man? That's all. Can he kick a ball? Can he kick a ball? That's all I need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the combine is the goofiest thing in the world to me. It is. I mean, it's a test of exercise. Like, wow. Like, if you want to build an all exercise team, go to the combine. You can get an all exercise team off the combine.
There are some guys that stand out, I think, and do better than what people could expect. Like this Isaiah Simmons guy who could play all over the field. Then he runs a 4.39. People are like, okay, maybe this guy moves up. Because speed does kill matchups, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to play football. Speaking of playing football, Patrick Mahomes, when it's all said and done, might be the best football player of all time. He's definitely on track now. A lot of conversation about his contracts coming out. He has said that he understands when you look back on this thing, it's about winning championships. And a lot of people are like, is he trying to help build a team instead of his contract? I don't think he alluded to any of that. But the thing that I did find interesting about Patrick Mahomes this weekend was on the Barbershop episode, halfway through, he said he didn't learn how to read defenses until halfway through about this last year. And he said he'll still continue to grow on that. He was just playing football basically while he was breaking records on everybody. Now he's starting to get the sense of what a defense does and disguises and knowing coverages. What is the limit for Patrick Mahomes? Is he just going to be a code breaker, a cheat code, a game breaker once he finds out all these little finer details? And where does he go next?
Yeah, and I think he's probably being really modest because you talk to guys who have coached him, and they said he's got an incredible football acumen. He really understands the game. What he's saying is, I'm getting to the next level of understanding the game, and I think that's part of what we've seen. But I go back to even his first year when he threw the 50 touchdown passes, man, his ability to look people off, his ability to understand what they were in, and his ability to execute plays was as good as there was. Well, it was second to none in the league. And so he'll continue to grow. He'll continue to understand the game at even a deeper level. And he says he wants to be kind of like the right-hand guy for Andy Reid and what Andy Reid's been able to teach him. So he's a super intelligent football player, unbelievably talented. And when it's all said and done, barring injury, God forbid, but he could be, the guy that we're talking about that usurps Brady as the greatest of all time.
Speaking of injuries, Diggs brought up something very intriguing before the show started. I want him to ask you this.
Mark, is it true? I did some reading. Is it 29 surgeries that you had? And
Yes.
what are your thoughts going forward, on a 17-game season with the CBA and stuff like that?
And how do you even have 29? What do you get the same knee done 14 times? How does that? How many body parts do you have?
Yeah, I've had my left knee operated on 15 times.
I just made that up. That was accurate. I just literally 15 times.
Yeah, you shorted me one surgery on my left knee, so it's kind of a dickish move by you. Yeah, I mean, once you start having issues, you keep having issues, and I didn't have a skill set built to do anything other than play football, so it was like I couldn't let that end for me. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the issues that your body's this great compensation machine. When you have one injury, oftentimes it leads to multiple other injuries because your body's constantly compensating. So that was kind of one of my issues, a bunch of elbow injuries, a bunch of knee injuries, obviously, back injuries, and a few other things along the way.
The rehab process is the worst part of the whole thing. I think not enough people understand what it's like to get your scar tissue dragged by a metal piece and then reteaching your knee how to walk again, the whole thing. And I think that is where you see a lot of the frustration coming from players about the 17 game. They're like, hey, not only are we struggling to get to the finish line with 16 games, but even when we do get hurt, the process of coming back is no cakewalk. This is a very difficult thing. Do you think the 17 games gets passed, and how big of an effect do you think it has on players?
Yeah, I mean, I think eventually they're going in that direction anyhow. And, the owners really don't have to give anything up, right? What do they give up? First off, they threw the fake $250,000 cap. And then they said, okay, listen, we're so altruistic, we'll actually give you your salary. What, you're going to pay us our salary?
Heroes!
Heroes! So, I mean, it makes it look like, hey, what a great guys the owners are, right? And they're giving up back-end stuff like, hey, less practice time, let's practice in pads and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's real, but I also understand that they look at the 65% of the guys or 60% of the guys that are minimum wage guys, that 17 games, how does it affect them? Well, if I'm taking 12 snaps a game on special teams, right, and that's the majority of your roster, well, an extra game doesn't really hurt me for another $100,000 or whatever it is. So I get the negotiation tactics that they use, and I think eventually it will pass. But you're 100% right. It's funny you bring up the whole rehab thing. I always consider myself more of a professional rehabber than football player. But my first year in Denver, I tore my knee up at the very last game of the season, or second to last game of the season. So I had to have a microfracture surgery. So I kept going back and forth from Denver because I was still living in Washington because I had left the Redskins. So I'm going back and forth to rehab in the off season. And my daughter at the time had a parent-teacher conference, and both parents were supposed to be there. Well, I kept missing it. And my daughter, she's in the second grade, kept saying, hey, my daddy's in rehab. He can't come to the thing. My daddy's in rehab. He can't come to the thing. So finally, 3 months after I'd missed 3 appointments, I finally come in on crutches, and the teacher goes, oh, that kind of rehab. So obviously, professional athlete. My daughter's teacher thought I was a drug addict, but I mean, it was part of my life. As soon as the season got over, man, and you've been there. The season ends. People don't understand this. The season ends. You do your checkout physical. The next day, like Monday or Tuesday, you line up and there is a like 15, 20 guys, and they come in, they stagger every 15 minutes. They'll walk into the surgical center. They'll walk in there. They'll start prepping. And every 15 minutes, there's another guy that walks in, gets prepped for surgery. And you'll be laying in the recovery bay right before you go into surgery. And there'll be 7 guys laying on gurneys, getting one after the other, gets wheeled in to have surgery. This was my life every year for 12 years. As soon as the season ended, I was in there having some type of surgery to fix something, and then you start the process over again just to get yourself back on a football field so that you can continue to play the following season. And that was every year, and you'd be just like, it'd be like one of those scenes from what was it, Wile E. Coyote or whatever, those cartoons, like Morning Fred, morning, and then they'd be battling, right? And everybody was just in there having surgery.
Well, that's why I think you hear the likes of Aaron Rodgers and all the OGs that, have been around a long time and probably have seen a lot of guys get a lot of surgeries. That's a 2-month, 3-month process after that with rehabs. And then as soon as the 2-3 month process is up, okay, now it's OTA time. Now it's this. And guys that have been in the league a long time kind of run out of off season almost. So whenever you hear these players be like, or whenever you hear fans go like, oh, they're so spoiled. They don't even want to go work out. Like that's their job. It's like, well, maybe they just want to like chill for like a week or two. Like maybe they want to take a month off after, going through an entire rehab process. There's a lot on the line, but the way that CBA proposal was set up, it is 1,000% to your point for the bottom half of the roster to say, this is good for me. Let's go get it through. And they're going to have the same amount of regret that happened 10 years ago, the day after that thing signed, a month after that thing signed, probably for the next 10 years until the next CBA signed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. For me, I don't understand, like, if you're going to give those things up, hey, man, let's redefine what revenue really is, because there's a lot of things that are left off the table when it comes to revenue. What's the gambling aspect of the NFL? I mean, how much revenue is that going to create, and is that part of what the new collective bargaining agreement is? And then
a lot, by the way, a lot of revenue.
Like, I've never seen one time any fan come to watch an owner sit around his ass off in the box, right? They come to watch football players play. That's what they come to watch. And the bottom line is, to me, hey, 50-50 split on the revenue. We'll give you the 17th game. Give us a real split on revenue. Like, let's take care of insurance after we're done playing for the long haul, right? Like let's make some real changes that really affect the life of the player, because it's not if you get hurt, you're going to get hurt. There's a 100% chance you're going to get hurt if you play this game. And let's take care of the players that way.
We got to get to a break here. Last question, though, for you. Dak Prescott, $33 million, 105 guaranteed, 100% a PR ploy by the Dallas Cowboys to leak that information so people know what they are offering Dak. If Dak turns that down, he looks like a bad guy instead of a guy that loves being a Cowboy to the Cowboys fans. How do you feel about that situation? What do you think happens?
Absolutely. I always hate it when they do that. That never gets leaked by the player, right?
Ever.
It's always leaked by the organization. And, the thing about contracts is you might as well write them on toilet paper, because that's what they're worth, right? and on the NFL players, like, they give you this fake monopoly money and go, look how much we love you. Look at what we offered you. And there are things within that contract. I'm sure there are outs. There are other things in that contract that basically are garbage. And they leak it out there and make you look like an ass. And every team does it, and I hate the fact that they do it.
All right, we got to get to a break. Mark, you're the best.
Right,
they can catch you today on Cowherd and on Speak for Yourself.
You got it, man.
You crush it on there, just like you do every time you get on a mic. We appreciate you. The handsome, the Super Bowl champ, the stink green chili founder, Mark Schleyer. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Cheers, man. We got to get to a break, and then we'll be back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
It's happening. People are freeing themselves from their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple. Get truly unlimited data on a 5G-ready network for just $45 a month, with no contract ever. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
Well, hello there. Don't be bored. Watch this stuff we talked about before. 17 seasons in the NFL. Okay, that's a very long time at quarterback. Most recently with the Philadelphia Eagles. The story goes that you had committed to coaching your kid's high school team, and the Eagles called you out of retirement, or they called you. How did that whole thing work out?
Yeah, so in August, they lost Nate Sudfeld, who was set to be their backup in camp for an injury, and so they reached out, and the initial conversation, I was like, no, I'm committed to coaching the high school team, and really excited about what we had going, and so the first answer was kind of no, and Howie and Doug talked me through things, and they were like, listen, we can work with the schedule, and really when it came down to it, I was like, I don't really need to miss Eagles stuff. I just need you guys to know that I'm going to be traveling. So I didn't miss any meetings. I would just, on Mondays, I'd get home, watch the, help, install the game plan for the high school. And then on Fridays, I would shoot home after practice. You know how the Friday practices are, Pat. We go home, get out early. So I'd go home Friday and watch the game, coach the game on Friday night, be a part of that, and then hop back there late Friday night and be ready to go Saturday. So it was fun. It made the weeks go fast, but it was a blast.
That's absolutely incredible. Dad of the year. And the fact that you withheld your commitment to the team after getting an incredible offer from the NFL says a lot about you as a human. Now, it has been rumored that the Eagles have offered you a coaching position, and you said that you still want to play. Is coaching something that you see in your future? And is how many years we think we got left in that incredible body of yours?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to get the hamstring right as we speak. So we'll head through some rehab here pretty soon, and everything's on the table, but I had a great time with the organization, and I think leaving there, we kind of just left everything open as far as, returning, and Doug was awesome. Howie was awesome. And so we'll see what happens. But right now the focus is just to get healthy, and to get the body right. I don't know how incredible it is at this age, but just to get the body right, get feeling better again, and at a minimum, get back out there and hoop some.
Well, hey, please, for the love of the internet, please get back on the basketball court.
March Madness is here, and there couldn't be a more fitting sponsor. Support for this podcast comes from Manscaped. It's not a podcast.
It's a live show. You just got to read over. They hope you can just read over them.
I'll read over it. Live show comes from Manscaped.
There it is.
Attaboys.
And they are here to remind you to keep your balls clean. As many of our basketball fans know, ball is life. And our friends at Manscaped wants to assist you when it's time for you to hit your game winner. Manscaped is the best in men's below the belt grooming.
Kind of broke yourself there a little bit, huh?
Their puns are on point.
On point, yeah.
And they have the right tool for the job. Do not read.
I didn't let him read this before reading it.
Yeah.
I gave it to him folded up. We only have 3.5 minutes left.
Oh, that's not me. That's why Manscaped has focused their resources on designing the best ball trimmer out there. Their Lawnmower 3.0. This is third-generation electric trimmer featured a cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents or incidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick-free, thanks to Manscaped Advanced Skin-Safe technology. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with a new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your Manscaped routine. The Crop Preserver is an anti-chafing.
Is this a book?
That's what I'm saying. Deodorant on the smelliest part of your body. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code America at manscaped.com. Oh, that was the call to action. I'm going to call to action again. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code America at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code America.
Nailed it. Good. Yeah, good job. That boy Z.
That boy Z. Keep your balls clean and score.
That boy Z.
Thank you.
That boy Z. Okay, so the XFL is still happening. Midway through the XFL's inaugural season, well, I guess it's the second season, but of the relaunch. And the big things from this weekend, let me get right to them here. The beer snake is something legendary. The DC Defenders, not only do they have Pep Hamilton as head coach and GM, they potentially had PFT commenter as a kicker, but their crowd has been one that has been electric. And the beer snake was one that was record-breaking this past weekend in the Audi Field, I believe is what it's called, Audi Field. Oliver Luck, commissioner of the XFL, contributed to the beer snake by bringing an empty beer cup to the Snake founders. We here at the Pat McAfee Show think that Oliver Luck should have potentially chugged the beer in front of their faces and crowd surfed to the top of the beer snake and put it on there. But I like that Oliver Luck is embracing this. I like that the XFL is embracing this. I like that the XFL is a league that is meant for fun. I also like that the XFL is incredibly transparent. In the Houston
Roughnecks.
Houston-Seattle game this weekend, the Houston quarterback, PJ Walker, who's going to be the MVP, took a knee on fourth down with 2 seconds left in the game. They ended the game saying that the clock ran out. The head ref at that particular time's name was Wes Booker. He said, yeah, the game's over. Sorry, we got to move on. Wes Booker, fired. See you later. They said they should have allowed them to play. They're down 9, which in the XFL is only a 1-score game. The way the XFL has handled reviews, the way they've handled ref mistakes, the way they've handled all these things are things that the NFL should look at. The transparency is beautiful. Just like the beer snake. Now, is there another half of a season of football left? Yep. I'll see him at the championship. I think it's been a lot of fun for football still exists. Now, show's about to wrap up here. I think we had a good one. Mark Schler is awesome. We talked about basketball. We talked about football. We talked about the Cowboys. Did we talk about baseball? Is it happening?
Not quite yet.
That's baseball talk. We're back on the other side. We'll see you tomorrow. Same Pat time, same Pat channel. This has been the Pat McAfee Show from Indianapolis, Indiana. Have a great Monday.
At Simple Mobile, you get the no-contract advantage. Unlimited talk, text, and data now for $30 a month. Now on a 5G-ready network with no activation fees ever. No confusion, no complexity, no frustration, and no contract. Ever, ever, ever. Now get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a month. And now 5G-ready. It's our best deal ever. Buy yours now at nationwide retailers or at Simple Mobile dealers. Learn more at simplemobile.com. Simple Mobile, out with the old, in with the simple.